California's nice. It's a little chilly now, but
And rainy.
during the summer it gets hot.
Art hasn't been able to find a steady job and everything. I mean, we're really happy and we're making it.
She's a good friend. We stayed in touch. We had met in 1982, and she was going to college. I was in the Air Force, and she wouldn't date me.
I didn't want to date anybody that was in the military. I was a rat, and I moved around all over the place, and I just didn't like that lifestyle. If you had not met Art back then, I mean, he was pretty much the same way, as laid back as he is now, except his hair was like really super short. And,
very short.
Actually, it was very short, but he had more of it. Going out with anybody, and I was like 19, for God's sakes. I wasn't really interested in having this really terribly serious relationship with anybody. It's just we were young.
But we got along famously. We'd go out, we'd talk all night long. And then when she wrote me a letter, I was in Maine, telling me that she was going to get married, then I don't even know if I returned that letter.
No, I don't think you did, because I have his old letters that he sent me.
I'll let her live her life, and I don't need to stick my nose in where it doesn't need to be. And went on about my merry business 25 years later.
So Art, why don't you tell the story of how we got back together after 25 years?
25 years. Well, I lost my job and had a lot of time to spend online looking for work. So I signed up for Facebook, and then I looked for you, but I knew that you had gotten married, and I didn't know what your last name was. So I looked for Deborah Bowles.
Right, and that wasn't my name anymore.
So then I thought
and I had looked for Art. I had gotten onto Facebook probably about a month, I think, before Art got on.
Probably.
Something like that. I was on there for not just looking for Art, I was just like looking for my friends and stuff like that, people that I used to know that I was interested in finding out what had happened to, and he was one of those people, and when I didn't see him on there, I said, well, he's not on here, so I won't find him this way. I found quite a few mutual friends of ours that I was in contact with, and one of them was this girl, Jan Truelove, who was a friend of both of ours when we were in college. And so she and I were in touch with each other. And we'd actually a Facebook conversation about, I wonder whatever happened to Art. I wonder how Art's doing.
And so when I couldn't find Debbie, then I was just looking for any other names. I did find Jan Truelove. She didn't change her name. And I looked at her friends, and I did see a Deborah, but it was Deborah Solis.
It's a different name.
So I didn't send a friend request.
And
right
I guess
away.
I looked so much older that he didn't recognize me.
Well, you had those big sunglasses on. And when I clicked on your name, then all I could ever see was the little picture, because
you weren't my friend.
Right.
You couldn't see all my pictures.
And so I really couldn't see that it was her. So I friended Jan. Yeah. So in fact,
it's the climax of the whole story.
In fact, it was true love that brought us back together. It'll be almost 2 years that we've been in touch with each other, because it was in
May 2009. So ironically, when Art and I got together on Facebook, it turned out that he was living in North Carolina and I'm living out here in Concord, California. And I was going to a family reunion in North Carolina. And so Art and his mom came down and met us there. Yeah, and then I went back up to Asheville where he was living, and I met all his friends and everything in Asheville. And then I went home back to California. It's been over a year since he's been out here, and it's great. I'm really glad he showed up. It's totally made my life a lot better.
Mine too. When we first got in touch, we wrote letters to each other. I remember looking at her Facebook page at her talking about herself. The first thing that got my attention was it starts out art, 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 and more art. I love art. She does really nice artwork and stuff, and that's what she was doing. But that
It was like the interest hobby.
that had to catch my attention, and so then I kept reading on, and she said that she would never get married again, and we wrote some emails.
Yeah.
And we were writing every day, and then it was like the 4th or 5th day we decided to start calling. But then it was like the 3rd phone call, and you told me, you know, on my Facebook page I said I'd never get married again, but I would get married to you, is what she said to me. And then I knew that that it was going to be the real thing. So
On Valentine, well, I worked on Valentine's Day, so Art made peanut butter cookies, though.
I made peanut butter cookies.
And I took some peanut butter cookies to work, and they were good. My favorite.
And that was Monday, so I did my
he volunteers.
volunteer at
volunteer.
a nursing home in Berkeley. So I went and did that, and then came back, and me and the cat hang out. I got watching TV.
In other words, it was a fairly non-eventful Valentine's Day.
Is it kind of like every day's Valentine's Day?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't need a special day.
I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
You know?
It's good. I mean, you know, it's for everything that, the fact that, you know, Art hasn't been able to find a steady job and everything. I mean, we're really happy, and we're making it, and it's going to work.
We're getting by.
It's just great that we're together.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
It is. My life has improved tremendously.
And so has mine.
So
that's the
story
story
in a nutshell.